Thank you for joining me on such short notice. I hate to break such serious news to you, but I was hoping doing it somewhere festive and fun like this would maybe lessen the shock. I've got your test results back right here, and I hate to say it, but it's far more serious than we thought. Yes, I hate to say it, but you're very sick. Very, very sick indeed. Yes, I'm afraid you've got a very horrible fever. A Pac Man Fever! You have 6 days left to live. Please pay me $47,000 for consultation fees.
This joke brought to you by the American healthcare system.
I think we can agree that everybody loves Pac-Man, right? I mean, look at him. The Pac is back. This design is perfection. It is both simple and yet iconic at the same time. I'm not going to explain who Pac-Man is. Fuck you, we both know who Pac-Man is. Neither of us have time for an opening segment of a 15-minute video titled Pac-Man, a symbol of American overconsumption in a capitalist market, versus Pac-Man, the silly little guy. Whatever, the year is 2002. Namco, seeing the success of other companies who were whoring out their mascots into spin-off social games, said to themselves, well, hell, we can do that. We got Pac-Man. Wait, shit, these games need a roster to work with. Well, okay, we also have his wife, and, ghosts, too. Who else can we throw into this party game? Shit. Oh, no. Oh, we forgot to make any memorable characters for our company. Quick, throw in whoever was in a game that we had come out in the last 3 years. I'm being a bit hard here. I mean, Bandai Namco is one of those companies that so far has avoided being on my shit list. Are they a greedy dickhead company? I mean, yes. They are a video game publisher, but somehow they've managed to never do something that directly makes me so angry that I swear a blood vengeance against them, binding me to slay each of their employees before my undead corpse can rest. You know, like the one I have going against EA. And the company of today and back then, they might as well be two different game companies, but these picks do baffle me. I mean, first off is Heihachi as the Tekken rep. Okay, yeah, this is a good pick. I okay this one. But for your Soul Calibur rep, what is going on here? Astaroth? Really? No, sure, it's not like you have much more iconic villain character of Nightmare that you could have used. No, let's use Astaroth. God forbid you use any of the more recognizable characters that people would actually, know. Like, I don't know, some of the characters that I would argue are the protagonists, like Mitsurugi or Sophidia. Yeah, sure, let's use a B or C story character like Astaroth. And boy, are they scraping the barrel now. I mean, Ridge Racer? Really? The franchise that's only lasting legacy is this meme?
It's Ridge Racer! Ridge Racer! Remember that one?
This last guy, I don't even know who he is. The game says Tiger, but I had to look him up, and it says here he's a texture swap of Eddie Gordo. So, congrats Namco, you found a way to include someone even more obscure than Ridge Racer. Alright, well, we might as well just get into the game. It's a move around the board and play minigames type of game, but with the execution that leaves a lot to be desired. I mean, look at the movement animation for Christ's sake. Everyone is doing that walk from Morrowind. You know, the one, the I just shit my pants walk. Anyway, the maps, all 3 of them, are all just straight lines. The winner of the minigame gets to move 5 spaces, with 3 and 2 and 1 being assigned to everyone below first. But there are also tokens, which act as coins. You gain or lose these by landing on spaces on the board for them, where a jump scare ghost can take them away from you. You can buy movement or send opponents back by spending tokens, but only by landing on store spaces. The other seemingly useless currency is raffle tickets. These increase your odds of winning the raffle for the different fruits if the event even comes up in the game. We'll get back to what you win when you win the raffle, but for now, let's keep it a surprise. The boards are honestly frustrating because there is no ability to strategize or think about how you're going to approach your turn. You just mindlessly move forward, asking people to step out of your way, please, as you go by. You're also not allowed to stop on the same space as another player, so sometimes you don't even end up where you wanted to go. Like here, I end up overshooting to a springback because I can't end my turn on the same space as another player. This traps me in a horrible loop where I keep getting just enough movement to hit this spring and get sent back over and over and over again. Not that the race across the board really matters that much, because at the end all players slow down to a 1 tile per turn move speed on the last 3 spaces, where you need to win the minigame to even get to move on to the next one. But even if the boards are boring and uninteresting, these games live and die by their minigames. So, how are they? Kinda all over the board. So many of these are the basic minigame ideas you've seen before, such as mash the button as fast as you can kind of thing, or grab all of the shit kind of thing, or have really good timing kind of thing. Some standouts are this vending machine one where you need to have the timing to hit all the buttons at the same time to vend fruit. It's just impossible to outtime the CPU at. This game, named Nightmares, has you picking up little knights with magnets and dropping them in a well, with, weirdly, the red knight worth more than the gold. Also, it got the CPU all stuck on it. There's also this one that I am too immature to say the name of.
Do any of these fuckers ever blast out of the wall and have like a huge cum shot?
Which has you busting these ghosts with a mallet. This mini golf one is about timing, which means the first time that you goof up and get out of rhythm, you're falling behind and losing. There's also this bowling one with some of the worst, slipperiest ball handling I have ever experienced since my last trip to Las Vegas. This cannon tic-tac-toe one seems like it might have been okay with another human, even if it devolves into who can shoot faster. Torpedo Pond honestly feels the most like a Mario Party minigame, even if it could use a few more iframes when you respawn. A couple of Pong-like games exist because they're easy to program, including the version where you are in a corner instead. But let's be fair, a lot of these minigames are super uninteresting. And get prepared to play the same ones over and over and over and over and over again. Each board seems to have a limit that you can only play minigames that match the theme of the board that you're playing, so these space games only show up on the space board. With only about 30 minigames, this means you're only getting to pick out of a pool of like 10 games per board, and the short game lasts about 35 minutes. So, picture you were playing Mario Party, and for 2 hours, every 5th game you played was bumper balls. That shit is going to get old fast. And this is made even worse because it seems like the AI is programmed to always duel the human player no matter what, even if you're in last and there's a way better strategic target for them to pick. By God, you are going to play every single fucking duel and get ready to hear this same song for most of the games. Speaking of songs, what the hell? The very famous Pac Man song that is the same name as this game isn't even in the game. So, what's your ultimate goal in this game as a player? Well, remember the raffles? Each one you win gives you a minigame ticket. So you can lose the whole board and still walk away with these tickets. And what do these tickets do, I hear you ask? Why, if you get enough of them, you can buy and unlock one of the minigames. Great. What does that do? Well, besides being allowed to play it, as we see in the opening movie, you need to buy every single minigame to get in the VIP room, and that is how you truly beat the game. And there is no fucking way I am doing that. These games are so god-awfully slow, with so many repetition of the games, this is like torture. I live in fear of the sick son of a bitch who is willing to freely and on their own will play this game to completion like that. That person is sick. Sicker than you are with your horrible, debilitating case of Pac Man Fever. I did check and get another doctor to look at this, get a second opinion and all, and he actually says he thinks you're going to be fine. He says you don't have a case of Pac Man Fever. He says you have a bad case of Pac Man World Rally. Yeah, okay, that one doesn't work, but whatever. But you know what does work well? take your mascot, stick him in a car. Mario's done it, Crash Bandicoot's done it, Shrek's done it, and hell, even the Blue Blur himself has done it. Namco took Pac-Man down to the DMV and got him his license so he could drive around in his own racer on the PS2. Unlike the last game, this cast is more Pac-focused. You've got Pac-Man and Miss Pac-Man and his kid as well. All the ghosts are here. This time, however, we also have a villain from each of the Pac Man World games, as well as the Pac Devil. That's right, kids, Pac Hell is real, and you're going there for that candy bar you stole from the Menards when you were 6. The guest characters include a Dig Dug Puka and the Prince of all Cosmos. See, these are real characters that I recognize, not like the ones in the last game. And it seems that the PSP version has 2 bonus racers of Mappy and Mr. Driller, but that requires me to get on a plane to have the excuse to even play on a PSP, so I ain't doing that.
High above the cornfields of Iowa, United Airlines Flight 232
Hey, what's the big idea? I'm trying to game over here!
is in serious trouble.
I have it. What was that?
One of the DC-10's 3 engines has exploded.
Anyway, let's get to driving. The first thing you always notice in a kart racer is, how does this game control? AKA, how does this feel compared to Mario Kart? Mechanically, it's pretty similar. The drifting and item system is basically the same. Like, these all function as the same colored shells, and the lightning is even still lightning. Well, okay, the drifts are kind of different. They expect you to start your turn way tighter than I'm used to, but whatever. As you drift, you build up this meter on the bottom, and once filled, you get 1 charge of a shield that can protect you from any item. You might see the pack pellets and think, oh okay, these function like coins. You'd be wrong, and I would laugh at you for that. No, instead you need to gather pellets to fill your pack meter, which then lets you turn into this big pack car, which lets you chomp the other racers. If someone else fills their meter, you turn into a cowardly blue ghost and have to try not to get chomped. Interesting mechanic, but the part that annoys me is that anytime anyone activates it, you come to a screeching halt so the camera can pan around you to let you know what's happening. There has to be a better way to do this that doesn't interrupt gameplay, but whatever. The other new mechanic is the fruits. Around the track there are many switches that you have to drive over to activate them. And once they're on, they will put out the pellets or fruit on the track. Then, when you've picked up the fruit, you can use it to open up a shortcut on the racetrack. Some of these are massive skips, and you absolutely should try to pick these up. And in the shortcuts are the only item boxes that will have 3 charges, so again, the shortcuts are basically mandatory. Some of the later tracks are so advanced that they have multiple fruits which give you access to multiple shortcuts, needing you to have taken the first one before you can even hit the switch that gives you the fruit for the second one. So, I'm guessing you want me to tell you about the tracks, huh? Yeah, sure, I can do that. The first 3 aren't that exciting. One is your starting pagoda level, one is a molten lava level, and the third is a nice drive around Canada. It isn't until the 4th track where we get a funny, spooky ghost mansion. The track starts with you in the Pac graveyard filled with Pac zombies before it drops you into the spooky Pac catacombs. Then you race through the manor itself, with the end of the lap blasting you out of a chapel. This track shortcut is kind of a huge detour that takes you off the map and around the outside of the track. The next track is a race down a southwest canyon. This is the first track where it's noticeable that you can fall off. You basically need to have figured out the right time to start drifting by this course, as it's very wavy. This shortcut is a huge straight line that lets you skip all the curves and risk of falling off. Just don't question where all this water is coming from. Next, we have the obligatory snow track complete with mandated penguin obstacles. They did spring for the non-obstacle Vikings though, which I don't think Mario ever did. The shortcut here is built into the track. Basically, if you have the fruit, you get a bigger jump off this ramp than if you don't. For the jungle track, you get a course that has you race through an Aztec-like temple. My complaint on this track is all the hard 90-degree turns. These suck to drive around and I'm constantly hitting the wall. Even the shortcut is a hard 90-degree turn. The last track of this cup is a pirate hideout, complete with pirate traps, crushers, ships, and booty. Oh, and also the most pathetic shortcut in the entire game. The swamp from the Fear Factor game comes back in the next track, including the gators. By this point, the tracks are fully built around the big driftable turns, so I hope you got good at them. This is the first track that has multiple shortcuts on it, with you needing to go into the grape one to open up the melon one. Talkman's Factory is the next track, and this is the first track that feels absolutely menacing. From the nature of it being a weapons factory, to its multiple hazards of crushers, blades, and angry bots, to its weird cross shape, to its soundtrack, this level feels like you are constantly fighting to survive. I mean, just listen to this. With so many ramps and doors on this level, it feels like many of the items don't even work well on here either. I thought it was going to be a relief to move on to the next track, except it turns out the next track is Clown Nightmare. Hey kids, how would you like to take those funny little pills that mom keeps locked in a drawer and hang out with a clown? Because this track recreates that experience. This level is a fever dream as it has multiple divergent paths you can go. You are constantly teleporting, having the clown send you to weird, different little pocket track dimensions. Some shortcuts seem to turn off hazards, while one sends you into this screaming clown's mouth. Again, the music on this track is absolutely menacing. Spooky's Castle, not to be confused with the cute ghost jump scare castle, is the last track of this cup, and it's a pretty cool level. It has you racing all over the battlements, up the stairs, into different hazards, like a suit of armor or a dragon. At the end of the lap, a pack wizard sends you outside, but not before trying to blast you. The neat thing about this track is that it has multiple shortcuts, and these are probably some of the more hidden ones that require hard turns to access. Overall, I think this level is trying to capture that same feeling you would have as a 7-year-old playing on Bowser's Castle in Mario Kart 64, and I will declare that they nailed it. The space track is one of those crossfire-like tracks where the racers are coming from both directions and they're at risk of slamming their Hot Wheels into each other. I do not know why, but every time I go off one of these launchers, Miss Pac-Man decides to break it down nasty style. I'm pretty sure that's a Galaga ship chasing a Galaga bug, because I recognize that audio cue. So what, is this last cup all reference tracks? I don't know, you tell me. That's right, they made Baby Park, but put Katamari's on it and said, go nuts. It's nice of the king to take a break from his busy schedule to watch us race. Shame the guy who does the vocals in the song, though, couldn't make it. I'm not insane, right? That's not the same guy, like, that's a different vocal track just for this game. Now, if you're like me, you're probably saying,
What the hell? How did those dipshits not put a Pac-Man maze in the game? Fucking just do a Waluigi pinball for it.
surprise bitch, it's the last track. And much like Waluigi Pinball, it's fun as hell. Even though all the turns are pretty hard turns, there is something really fun about racing around in the maze. You even get to dodge ghosts and watch as Pac-Man and his wife play the machine from the outside. And the machine is like the specific Pac-Man machine I think of when I remember Pac-Man as a child. You know, the one that was the tabletop two-player one that I want to say was in the Pizza Hut. And I know that one restaurant that was downtown. My only complaint is, how the hell did I get second on this track? What the hell is going on? What is this bullshit here, where on the mini-map, I can see the ghost in second get stuck back over the line, and then they just skip the entire last lap getting first? There were a couple times where I would say the computer racers got stuck or would end up going the wrong way in this game. Which is a shame, because aside from those issues, I would say this is a pretty good game. The tracks and the driving are both good, which are the big ones, but it also has a lot of little charm too, like the whole Pac-Man maze for the mini-map, and UI touches with things like different loading screens. Plus, the soundtrack is very good. Honestly, this game is one of those games that I think would have been a really good rental back in the old Hastings Entertainment days. Well, congrats on surviving your horrible case of Pac Man Fever, or Pac-Pox, or whatever it is you got going wrong with you. I gotta admit, though, you still look really sickly to me. Well, whatever, you've survived. So, you know what? Since you survived, let's throw you a party. A Pac-Man party for the Wii! Oh, no. Nope, there you go, looking sick again. The year, 2010. The console, the Wii. The occasion? Why, Pac-Man's 30th birthday, of course. And what better way to celebrate your first steps into boomerhood than with a Mario Party knockoff? Actually, that's the thing. This game isn't fully a Mario Party knockoff. No, it's actually more like if someone was carrying an open box of Monopoly and then tripped, spilling it all over Mario Party. The game works like this. Each turn, everyone plays a Wiimote game that decides what your movement role is. Then, everyone moves at the same time. If you land on a blank space, you build your own castle there. Having properties is one of the ways you earn pellets. Cookies. Yeah, you thought Pac-Man ate pellets all your life? Nope, wrong. They were cookies the whole time. No idea what you were thinking. Doing a lap around the board is also how you get more cookies, with more if you directly land on go, and more based on how many properties you own. If you get multiple properties next to each other, they upgrade into a bigger version. This makes them give more cookies to yourself when you land on them, and cost other players more if they land on them. But that's only if they lose first. See, there is no minigame at the end of each turn. The minigames happen when any player lands on another's property. They then compete for ownership of the property. Basically, the winner gets it and the loser gets to pay up. This means there can be multiple minigames per turn as each player contests land ownership. And you can even have multiple attackers on the same property too. If you're the defender, you only have to beat the people attacking to keep your home. If you come in second, but the home invader comes in third, you've beat their ass. Failing to attack means you have to pay the property's value. And losing a game where you can't afford to pay makes your ass homeless, as you lose a castle to cover the cost. Neutral bystanders can earn power pellets, power cookies, if they win a game that they have no stake in. These power-ups are a limited resource that you can burn to get an advantage in a minigame. Well, most of the time anyway. It's hard to tell what they do sometimes. It feels like nothing sometimes, and other times it's the equivalent of just pushing an I win button. I mean, look at this shit. Anyway, I like the system because it creates some strategy, not only with the decision to use or save power pellets, but also with stuff like, say an opponent who is second is defending one of their properties to another foe. You could try and play normally and try and win a power pellet, or you could try and kingmake and sandbag one of them just out of pure spite. The board only really has two other things besides the player-owned housing. One is the equivalent of community chests, where you gain or lose pellets. The song for this, I swear, sounds like the Rainbow Monkey song from Kids Next Door.
Rainbow monkeys, oh so very round and super chunky, bringing love wherever they go.
The other is the board-specific event. Each time a player passes it, more progress is made to it, and eventually it causes some calamity that affects the board and summons a huge boss. Once their slow ass makes it to the board, you will all fight them in a cooperative boss minigame, a la Mario Party 9. Except this one came out first, so someone get Pac Lawyer on the line. The boards themselves aren't actually all that interesting. As you can see here, all of them functionally are just a straight line around. I guess the theme is different. You have your basic castle world, which floods, and you fight a squid. In Egypt world, where you dig a hole, flooding the boards, again, but this time pissing off a big spider. There's a spooky haunted board where you build spooky manors that sometimes have goat towers. The event here is you all carve a jack-o'-lantern, which pisses off the same spider again. Luckily, butterflies are willing to crush the spider with the pumpkin. In the Frozen world, you make Disney's Frozen castles and build a snowman, pissing off the same squid again. Listen, man, making boss models is hard. What are we supposed to do? Make a new one for each board? We spent all that time redesigning Pac Man and the ghosts so they'd look like the versions from this show. Oh, the last board is a rats map where you build little Lego castles. And look, it's got a nice friendly teddy bear who is absolutely willing to share his jelly beans with you.
Yo, man, don't eat those.
Since the main mechanic is minigame fights over deed ownership, let's talk about the minigames. The good news is most are competent. The bad news is this is a Wii game, so yeah, you better bet your ass is waggling. The suffering news is that every fucking minigame starts with this song, so get used to hearing this shit. Most of the games are familiar if you've played a party game on the Wii, or frankly, any party game, but here are some standouts. Looking at it, many of these games are food themed, which makes a certain amount of sense, I guess. That is Pac-Man's thing. Eating. I guess, sure, food is as good as any idea for a waggle as hard as you can game. In a more controlled waggling, you hit the stage in Pac-Man's Broadway debut. There's a twist on golf where you aim for the hole in the air, and then if no one manages to land in it, it becomes first to roll into the hole. A press your luck type of game is here where you all inflate a puka, but it's no Bowser's Big Blast. Rumble fishing, where you pray that you're the player with the non-Mad Catz controller that actually has a working rumble. Ice cream rains from the sky in this one, where you all race to stack up the most monstrous leaning cone. Losers have to do cleanup. Shear sheep in... Good lord, what is wrong with its face? This is the face of a sheep that saw what unspeakable acts Zuckerberg and Musk did in a Hilton hotel room on June 8th, 2018. This sheep is haunted, and now so am I. At least the other barn one of gathering chicks, the animal in question doesn't look so deranged. In this one, you follow the prompts to play your Wiimote flute, raising up a snake. I know, my snake's getting raised thinking about a Lamia doing this to me. I am so lonely. Hey, it's Canada's favorite pastime of curling. This one is played in a couple of rounds, and using a power pellet here really lets you cheat, just like Team Canada. Shit, sorry Pac-Man, didn't mean to piss you off with that joke. Dodge blocks in a version of Book Squirm that actually isn't all that bad. There are a couple bumper ball-esque games where you roll around slamming into each other. I guess they really liked that Pac-Man is spherical. This game has you grabbing bouncing candy during the day and avoiding the pumpkins at night. This one has a layer of strategy to it, since you need to decide if you're going to go for the piece before it turns or avoid the risk. In this one, we find out that donuts are made when you shoot Pac-Men into the middle of them, which I feel like I missed that step that time I was watching them make donuts at the Krispy Kreme. Another of these point and shoot ones has you take the role of a sniper shooting at targets on a castle, proving to the monarchy inside that if they ever piss off the people too much, they're only one grassy knoll away. Experience the fate of all of the boomers' stuff, as their kids don't have anywhere to keep all the junk that their parents hoarded over the decades. Oh god, they cubed my round boy! This game has you selecting pieces of candy, and if a bomb falls down, you lose. What's funny about this one is if you're the first person to go, you can just force a tie by dropping the bomb instantly. We have a Pokemon Stadium Lickitung knockoff game where bombs take the place of wasabi. Grab pieces of candy as they dispense from above, but don't eat the bombs. Man, Pac-Man enjoyed that so much he decided he was gonna pack off in front of everyone. Speaking of, the Jerking It minigame from Mario Party is also here, where you and your pals all get to laugh and make that same joke as you shake a soda up. At least this killed Pac-Man. I just want to add that I've always liked where in a minigame, the losers basically are all put in mortal peril or just straight up die. It's funny in Mario Party, and luckily this game does it too sometimes. Like this one where you get hammered right into a furnace. Huh. I don't know if these count as minigames, but it's advertised on the box. You can play Pac-Man and Galaga and Dig Dug too. So, you know, if you ever wanted to play these arcade classics with a sideways Wiimote like the weird homunculus that you are, go for it. Overall, I would say this game is fine, but I don't know if that's because I've played some awful party games and this one is good by the nature of being more competent, or if it's actually fine to the layman. Like, you would prefer Mario Party, but if you're at your cousin's house and this is the game that they had instead, you'd be like, okay, yeah, that's fine. Their parents are getting divorced and they can't afford the good. They get the Pac-Man. That's fine. We'll play the Pac-Man game. So, that's that. Those are the Pac Man Party games. Well, okay, one was a racer, but, you know, they're games that you could play with friends that you had invited over at a party. Granted, they're not going to want to be your friends anymore after that, because literally they would have preferred to do anything else at a party other than play Pac-Man games. But at least these games seemingly got better as time went on. Like, different studios figured out what you could do with Pac-Man that made him work as a mascot character in a mascot game. I guess that's the lesson, is if you make a character marketable enough, you can stick him in any old The hell was that? I think I'm fine. No, wait. No, I'm dead.